The mist-shrouded forest is still, filled with smoke and flickering embers. The battlefield is littered with unconscious mist shinobi, their bodies sprawled across blood-soaked ground. Weapons lie broken, tents smolder. The RAU-IRU Shadow Clan Zero, Tengen, Koka, Rai, Uzui, like Gentle Berserker, and Urozen stand victorious. Rai, his white hair blowing in the breeze, eyes fixed on a retreating ship. Once those shinobi return to the Mist Village, thousands of Mist Ninja will come for war by tomorrow. Suddenly, a crackling bolt of violet lightning arcs across the sky, launched from the outstretched hand of Urozen, whose expression is calm but deadly. Who said anything about them making it home? Koka, shadows swirling around him, grinning with red glowing eyes. As destructive as ever. Third Founder. A massive swirling shadow portal opens behind them. Dark tendrils twist in the air as the clan begins stepping into the portal, the ancient scroll clutched tightly in Rai's hand. The last moment before the portal closes, Rai looks over his shoulder with a cold final glance. One less problem.
Scorching sun beat down on the training grounds, dust swirling with every clash of weapons. Basky stood at the edge of the battlefield, arms folded, his eyes trailing the furious battle taking place before him between Zero and Tengen. One calm and calculated, the other wild and relentless. Do they ever take breaks? Close quote. Zero, the infamous bone user, launched a rapid barrage of strikes with sharp, bone-forged blades protruding from his arms. Tengen, the red-eyed flame wielder, met each attack with fierce energy, fire flaring from his fists and dancing up his arms. Tengen, if we take breaks, one of the other clan members may come for our captain position. Their blades clashed, bone and flame locked in a deadly dance. With a sudden twist, Tengen ignited his foot in flame and delivered a crushing kick to Zero, sending him skidding across the dirt. Zero quickly rolled back to his feet, unfazed but aware of the blow's force. Baska's eyes widened slightly. These weren't just sparring matches, they were battles for dominance, for legacy. Tengen turned toward him, his flame still crackling. Tengen, Fourth Founder Baske, join us. Baske glanced from Zero's calm expression to Tengen's blazing aura, then looked down at his own hand, as faint sparks of energy flickered to life. The invitation wasn't to a simple training session. It was to a brotherhood of strength, to the founding legacy of warriors who rose through fire, bone, and grit. And in that moment, as the air burned with purpose, Baska stepped forward. The path of fire, bone, and unyielding, the sun hung high above the RAU-IRU village, casting warm light across its sturdy rooftops and bustling streets. Amid the calm, two figures stood at the heart of the square, their presence drawing quiet respect from every passerby. Rai, clad in black armor, regarded the young warrior beside him with a steady gaze. His tone, as always, was sharp but sincere. Open quote, Rai, you displayed quick thinking in the battlefield against the Mist Ninja. Urozen gave a faint smile, one that carried both pride and humility. I learned from you, older brother. There was a pause, thoughtful and heavy with unspoken meaning. Then Urozen turned slightly, scanning the village with calm concern. Urozen, have you seen our brother Baske? Before Rai could respond, a familiar presence pressed into their minds like a gust of wind through a door left open. Open quote, Uzlapathically, Baske is at the training grounds, sparring with Zero and Tengen. As Uzui appeared from around the corner, walking toward them in his dark garb and glowing red eyes, Rai and Urozen spoke in perfect unison, sighing in frustration. Rai and Urozen, Uzui, you know I hate when you get in my head like that. A sudden ripple of shadows formed behind them. From the swirling black portal stepped Koka, silent and grim, his massive shadow wolf trailing beside him like a living shadow. The air grew colder in his presence. Koka, I've searched and confirmed. There are no more remaining Mist Ninja on RAU-IRU lands. Quote, Rai gave a short nod, the news bringing a sliver of relief to his eyes. But the war-hardened leader remained cautious. There were always shadows behind peace. Just then, a hawk swooped down from above and landed gracefully on Uzui's forearm. It bore a scroll tied to its leg. Uzui untied the message and scanned it quickly. Open quote, Uzui. Vaughn and Zack have completed their mission with the Mob Clan. They'll return home in one day. A stillness settled over the group. After weeks of tension and bloodshed, the storm was finally beginning to pass. But it wasn't the silence that caught their attention next. It was the sound of laughter. They turned to see a group of children in the village square, kicking a worn ball back and forth with boundless energy and joy. Their cheers echoed off the walls, untouched by the weight of war or duty. For a brief moment, Rai, Yurozen, Uzui, and Koka stood in silence, watching the future of RAU-IRU playing under the sun they fought to protect. And in that fleeting peace, they remembered why they bled. A blur of motion as Vaughn and Zack flash-stepped from tree to tree above a misty forest, wind trailing behind them. That hawk of Uzui should have reached RAU-IRU's Shadow Village by now. I can't wait to get home. Zack keeping pace beside Vaughn. Yeah, and I can't wait to get food. You lost all our money betting against that mob clan leader Cap. Now I'm starving. Oh, stop complaining. I would have won if their kunoichis weren't so distracting. Both characters suddenly froze in midair above the trees, heads turning toward the horizon. Zack's red Sharingan-like eyes glowing, wind swirls at his feet. You heard that, right? Vaughn's white eyes glowing, karma mark faintly pulsing. Let's move. Vaughn and Zack land in a tense forest clearing. A mysterious woman in shinobi garb stands with several mercenaries wielding crude weapons. The scream, it came from here. Close-up of Vaughn, karma mark spreading across his body. Vaughn's eyes glow white as black flank flames from the karma swirl and spread across his shoulder and chest. Let's go. Wait, it's a trap. Ice-style crystal binding coffin. Shh! A sudden blast of ice erupts from the woman's hand, freezing Vaughn mid-leap. His body is covered in thick, jagged ice. Vaughn's body as the ice begins to melt and evaporate off his skin, absorbed by the karma mark. Hiss! Vaughn's karma seal absorbs the chakra, nullifying the ice-style technique. Wind-style, air fist. Zack slams his palm forward. Wind blasts outward in a visible swirl, throwing mercenaries backward, of the woman stepping forward, hand raised in command. The bandits regroup behind her as she glares. Woman, hand over your valuables, now. Side-by-side close-ups of Zack and Vaughn, serious and battle-ready. Zack, we come to help, and you try to rob us? Vaughn, speech bubble, eyes glowing, 4 Truth Seeker orbs hovering behind him. You must not know what clan we're from. The snow-covered clearing lay still under a pale moon, its silence broken only by the crunch of boots. Vaughn and Zack stood side by side at the center of the icy battlefield. Across from them, shadows shifted. Figures stepped forward. A fierce-looking woman led a squad of mercenaries through the trees, their presence radiating hostility. The tension crackled in the frozen air. Without hesitation, Zack began forming hand signs. Wind gathered around his fingertips, swirling with growing intensity. Zack wasted no time, unleashing his wind-style technique with sharp precision. Behind him, Vaughn remained calm. His body emanated power as the glowing Truth Seeker orbs hovered behind his back. He lifted his hand, and the orbs joined Zack's wind attack, aligning perfectly with the blast. With a cold focus, Vaughn guided the orbs forward in synchronized motion. The enemy mercenaries scrambled, throwing up a massive earth wall to block the incoming assault. But it was no match. The combined force of wind and orbs shattered the wall like glass. Crack! Crunch! Stone fragments flew as 2 mercenaries were sent flying, unconscious before they hit the ground. The wall crumbled under the pressure. Their defenses were useless. The female leader didn't flinch. With a growl, she launched into the air, eyes burning with rage and pride. I don't care what clan y'all from. Don't underestimate us, she screamed. As she came down, she slammed her palm into the icy terrain. A deep rumble echoed through the forest. Boom! Massive ice spikes burst upward, tearing through the earth and racing toward Vaughn and Zack. The battlefield was pierced, fast, sharp, and deadly. But before the frost could reach its mark, Zack moved. He stepped in front of Vaughn, his eyes narrowed, Sharingan glowing. With calm determination, he raised both hands and formed a perfect particle-style cube in the air. A forbidden jutsu unleashed. The ice spikes exploded in midair, disintegrating into shimmering crystal fragments that drifted downward like snow. Vaughn's eyes narrowed. He stepped forward, his gaze locked on the enemy. Crystals rained around him. Then, with a surge of dark chakra and unwavering resolve, Vaughn dashed forward through the mist. The path was clear. It was time to end this. Vaughn and the Ice User female leader exchanged fierce blows, Their movements a blur. Ice shards and flickers of dark chakra swirl around them. As the forest battlefield crackled with tension, Vaughn and the mercenary leader clashed in a flurry of raw strength and elemental jutsu. Desperate to turn the tide, one of her subordinates lunged toward Vaughn from behind. A wind blade slices across the scene. The subordinate falls before reaching Vaughn. "Zack, don't forget about me." Zack, standing still with one hand extended, his Sharingan glowing. Wind trails from his attack. His expression is cold and unreadable. With a chilling gaze, Zack reminded them all why the RAU-IRU shinobi are feared. She leaps back and begins forming ice hand signs. Vaughn smirks as his karma mark spreads across his body. "Vaughn, you've tried that already." Vaughn's entire body now pulsing with chakra as his karma seal fully activates. His Truthseeker orbs twist into long black senbon. Fueled by karma's power, Vaughn's chakra surged, unstoppable and precise. The black senbon pierced through the female shinobi's ice defense, catching her midair. Her eyes widen in shock. She never stood a chance. Vaughn and Zack stand together, looking back one last time before vanishing in a flicker of movement.